If you want to listen to spirit people, I'll give you a clue right here. Anybody who's listening. If you get on there and ask to speak to your grandmother or your uncle, and you go out to a cemetery, or you just talk to, say, I want to talk to spirits, you're going to get a reptilian right now. Guaranteed. You will be talking to reptilians, and they will be jerking you around.
September 1991. In this dramatic footage shot by NASA's own cameras aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery, an unidentified object appears to emerge from the Earth's atmosphere and moves steadily toward the upper left. Then, as a peculiar flash is detected in the lower left of the frame, the strange object seems to dart off into space.
There's the main object. It's going to come over here, there will be a flash, it'll dart back here, then you'll see a streak go through here.
As radical as it sounds, Dr. Jack Kasher, who has worked on Star Wars defense development, believes we may be witnessing a Star Wars weapon being fired just before a UFO performs an evasive maneuver.
Watch for a double flash down here, and then it'll zip off. There's the flash, there it goes. Here comes the streak right through where it had been.
While NASA has maintained that this footage probably shows ice particles being affected by the shuttle's rockets, Kasher is certain this is not the case. He believes NASA's cameras caught extraterrestrial vehicles navigating over our planet.
An ice particle simply cannot stop and wait for half a second and then react to being pushed by the exhaust from the shuttle. I think the video itself is a landmark because of the significance of what appears to be going on there, and the fact that it appears that we really are looking at spacecraft out in space away from the shuttle.
Had a dinosaur like Troodon continued to evolve, could it have possibly developed into something humanoid? A dinosauroid?
The dinosauroid was a thought process that basically was trying to emphasize the fact that dinosaurs were changing over time. The idea is that, well, maybe if they hadn't become extinct, then Troodon would become something like the dinosauroid.
Some scientists consider a world in which we may have rubbed shoulders with a dinosaur equivalent as highly plausible. Evolutionary paleobiologist Simon Conway Morris is among a select group of people who argue that evolution is far from random, believing that life, given time, will evolve via natural selection toward a few optimum designs, and they don't come much better than the human form.
The human is extraordinarily well designed. The whole arrangement is actually designed for a particular mode of life, which, as you can see, looking around us, is incredibly successful. Is a dinosauroid like a humanoid really a possibility? I don't really see why not. I mean, there are lots of different, if you like, designs out there in the natural world, but the humanoid is a really good design. If it's such a good solution for us, is it so difficult to imagine it could be a good solution for a dinosaur, therefore a dinosauroid? I don't see why not. Evolutionary convergence is the idea that from completely different starting positions, life, if you like, navigates to a very, very similar solution. But again and again in evolution what we see is that animals, even plants, even bacteria, which don't look anything like each other to begin with, end up slowly coming together to be sometimes almost indistinguishable. Life has a pattern, and it also suggests that maybe evolution has predictability.
Conway Morris has no problem envisioning an alternate 21st century with dinosaurs which includes one species, like Homo sapiens, that would have prevailed and evolved above all others of its kind.
Let's imagine perhaps that the dinosaurs really did become some sort of dinosauroid. The great rock doesn't fall out of the sky. It's a bright light in the sky. The dinosaur says, "What's that?" No idea. The mass extinction is postponed, in fact it's cancelled. So what's happening then? We've got the apes rapidly evolving, and then they're beginning to look over their shoulders because just conceivably there are also these dinosauroids doing rather similar things. And then of course it's fascinating to think what would have happened. Would it have been an evolutionary race? Maybe there would have been a winner, or maybe ultimately, unbelievably, madly, it could have been perhaps even a cooperation.
The utopian notion of dinosaurs and humans sharing the planet may appeal, even be plausible to some.
Known him from his books and from his appearances on radio shows like this one, where he's talked about his experiences with what he calls tall white aliens, the tall whites.
She even believes the Greys took her unborn child.
I never had anything involved that would have been a miscarriage. I was about 8 weeks pregnant. Then it was just gone. I mean, I did not have the bleeding that's involved. Nothing.
In a later regression session, Lee recalled being in a brightly lit, sterile room.
They brought a young girl into the room and left her there with me. And she was a hybrid, what we consider a hybrid, although she looked a lot like me. Her hair was, she had really bad hair though, but she looked a lot like me. And she was about the age that my child would have been at that point.